This is the Eli Bridge touchscreen controls for the wheel. You're on the main screen. No passengers on the wheel. We'll begin initial loading.
I just chose the first seat instead of choosing next.
The wheel's moving to the starting position for a balanced loading sequence. It's stopping with the first seat, allowing us to load it. We'll go to the next seat. You can see the screen updates the loaded position seat around in its current location. Now it stops to load the opposite seat. Moving to the next seat. Loading it. It's loaded. Now we'll move back to the other side of the wheel to maintain balanced loading. You can see the system tracks the loaded seats in the sequence they loaded at the bottom. We're skipping the load platform cycling right now for just time constraints.
At any point, you can go to the normal operation screen and begin normal operations. You don't have to fully load the wheel.
So the wheel will begin running the preset number of cycles, revolutions that the user can set that number to any number of total revolutions you want to do for a run cycle.
I think we're set on 2 now.
You can see the screen continues to update. The green seats have patrons in them. And you can see it continually update as they move around as the wheel turns. So now it's asking you if you would like to, what you're doing with the current seat that it stopped at the load platform, if you're reloading new patrons into that seat or if you're going to leave that seat empty. So we've reloaded that seat. And it goes to the next one in the sequence and continues this. You can operate with the current number of seats that you have selected and maintain that number while you're running, and you can decrease by emptying some on the way. The system will flag you if you empty 3 in a row, giving you a warning not to continue as you might get in an unbalanced situation, and prompts you and asks if you would like to unload the entire wheel. And if so, it will do it in a balanced manner rather than sequentially.
At any time, you can go back to the initial loading screen. Continue to load your wheel in a balanced manner.
So you can see it stopped at seat 6 and loaded it, and it'll continue to allow you to load more seats so you can flex your number of active seats as your line and demand changes with customers wanting to ride the ride. You can see how much quicker this is to operate with the precise positioning of the seat. You don't have to depend on your own timing to get it in an accurate position for safe unloading of passengers. Due to the encoder on the wheel, it positions the seats at a predetermined location.
Okay. I still have 5 seats that need to be reloaded. But it goes to those seats that need to be reloaded. Oh no, I know where that came from. We had finished with seat 12, we had finished.
You can see as the wheel has been loaded, when you start your normal cycling of the ride, it renumbers the seat loading sequence sequentially so you can more quickly unload and load new passengers in at the end of each run cycle. And this just continues and continues per the sequence of the seat order until you decide to either empty passengers or unload the wheel or your other options. Do the unload wheel. Going to the unload wheel screen, it tells you, prompts you if you're going to completely unload the wheel. It's going to change the seat sequence to a balanced rather than the sequential seat order you see at the bottom, and that way we can do a complete unload of the wheel at, say, the end of a running period, so we can unload it in a balanced manner. And you can see the numbers, seat numbers reoriented that way, and so now you can just continue to unload seats. And as always, this still has the original joystick manual controls. We have those built into the touch screen, so you maintain all those functionalities that we've always had, but with a lot of new features and precise positioning, which allows you to focus on safety of your patrons rather than being so worried about stopping the seats in the correct position.
All right.
I'm going to jump to some other screens just to show other screens.
Manual loading.
There's manual loading screens. It gives you the option to touch a particular seat. Press go to call that seat down to the load platform. Now seat 10 will be stopping at the load platform, and we will get to respond whether we are loading the seat or unloading the seat. And then we can continue manually functioning this way, or we can Let's jump out back to the manual operation screen. Here's the manual operation screen. You can see you have buttons on it similar to what the joystick provides, with forward run, also forward and reverse jogging, and as well as stopping the run cycle. Okay. And the jog buttons are momentary, so it will jog as long as you hold them down. Okay. Next screen. Fault indications. If there were ever any faults with the wheel, there's a screen built for that to give us indications of what happened, for use in us assisting you in troubleshooting. There are also some configurable settings screens that the location would have a password to access these, to maybe change some options if you want to default with if you're going to run the total number of seats or a smaller amount of seats, as well as some other features in this. We also have built-in I/O input-output indicators that your maintenance staff and or Eli personnel can view should there be a need for troubleshooting. We can also monitor the frequency drive status through this screen. If you provide a network connection to this panel, we also have the ability to check these things remotely.
Okay. Reset his old password.
Each customer has an option of inputting their own desired password and changing it as needed. This gives you the ability to restrict changing settings only to authorized personnel. There are some built-in informational screens that will tell you what certain buttons or certain things do, to be a little more intuitive for the user.
Okay.
We do have the functionality to emergency call a seat down if you would have a patron misbehaving or having whatever reason that they would need to get unloaded immediately. You can use that feature while the ride is running. Press emergency call. It asks you to input a seat number by pressing it down below in the seat sequence. It'll tell you it's calling the seat down. It'll bring it to the loading platform on the next time it revolution to park it at the load platform. Now you can address whatever possible concern that you had, and then you can go back to your operation.
And
this concludes some summary of the operations of the touchscreen controls for a Big Eli wheel.